Joining me now in the studio are Elizabeth Osborne, Anu Agarwal, and Farheen Hussain to tell us about the upcoming presentation, The Revelation. Thank you all so much for being here today. I'm excited to see you again. A couple of years ago, we had a wonderful interview about some of the things planned by the Academy of Bangla Arts and Culture, and this is another presentation of your group. Anu, as General Secretary of the organization, I'd love to start with you first and talk a little bit about what the Academy of Bangla Arts and Culture does, what the organization is for in the community.
Sure. The Academy was formed in 1987, and basically it had twofold purpose. One was to make Bangla culture and the arts a part of mainstream international American culture, and that's to make the general people more aware of Bangla culture as such. And the second was that the existing population of Bangla origin, they would have a platform or a forum to participate in the different Bangla activities relating to the culture.
There is still in Western culture such an aura of mystery that surrounds anything that's Eastern. And
That's
I
right.
suppose, to use a computer term, what your organization can do is heighten the awareness of what Bangla arts and culture is all about, and at the same time demystify it. Do you think that's what you do?
Yes, exactly. And also to show that art and culture, the world around, is so much alike in so many different ways. It's just that the interpretations are different, and I think for the artists it must be for someone like Elizabeth a great challenge, or it must be a great pleasure to sort of bring them together, the art from the East and the West. And I think, yeah, that's what the whatever the mystic or whatever of the Eastern culture is all about.
Sure, absolutely. You spoke about what Elizabeth has to do, and we should say at this point that you've got quite a challenge in front of you, Elizabeth. The piece that you guys are going to be presenting this weekend, The Revelation, is a story that reveals some things, including dance and drama. Is that as well?
Exactly.
About the culture? Can you tell me a little bit about it,
Sure.
and then we'll talk about the particular task that Elizabeth has?
Sure. It's basically what's called a dance drama. It was written by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, and it's a dance drama means it's a musical where you have music and dance. The music is essentially a series of songs through which the story unfolds. And the artists, of course, we're going to have recorded music for this one. We don't have live singers on stage, but we will have the dancers, of course, and they are going to, through the dancers, bring the story out. And it's about a girl, a princess rather, who was brought up like a warrior by her father to protect the citizens of the kingdom, and then until she falls in love with a man who is the greatest warrior of the times. His name is Arjun. And Chitrangada, who's the girl, suddenly she realizes that because of her tomboyish nature and her warrior-like characteristics, she sort of lacked in femininity, and all of a sudden she wanted to become this woman that she never was, supposedly. And then she asked the god of love to transform her into a beautiful maiden, which he does. And then once she becomes beautiful, Arjun falls in love with her. But in the end, I mean, the greatest irony was that Arjun falls in love with the Chitrangada that she really was. So when she reveals her true self, which is an unfeminine warrior-like woman, that's the person that Arjun really
That he
falls
actually
in
falls
love
in love with.
Yeah,
What a statement from someone who's writing in the early 1900s about
Exactly.
the role of women and the expectations
Exactly.
between men and
Right.
women.
Right.
How much of a challenge must this be for you?
It was much more than I had bargained for, I think. But I had so much help from everyone. And we had a script so that I could understand what was being said throughout the music.
So we need to point out then that the music and everything, the music and the lyrics to the music are in Bangla.
Very right.
Wow.
Yes, although they are in Bangla, but of course for the performance we will have subtitles and everything so that
Excellent.
the audience can
So everyone will
follow.
know.
Yeah.
But for you as a performer to to have to interpret words in a language that you don't know.
Right.
So there was a translation for you?
Right. And I think the wonderful thing that I really came to know is that, you know, dance is a universal language. And so as long as I had the general idea, I could take that and make it work.
That's
and,
excellent.
You know, I drew upon ballet and jazz, and I, of course, watched the others dance, and so I kind of incorporated it all together to make it, I think, just a little bit different, but yet similar.
Ballet and jazz are both Western forms of dance, essentially. I mean, there's a little fuzziness on the ballet side, especially on the Russian side, but we think of them as essentially Western forms of dance. And Bangla, of course, is Eastern. What did you find in your own dance training that allowed you to make that leap to the more Eastern kinds of movement and things?
I think my jazz training really helped me there, because in the Bangla dancing, they do a lot of footwork, but their hands are beautiful. They use their hands in a way that I could never do that. But I used a lot of quick footwork and my body and the expressions that you would use as a dancer anyway if you're doing a piece that you have to express a certain feeling. And from there, it just kind of all came together.
That's fabulous. Now, Farheen, you are one of the founding members of the Academy of Bangla Arts and Cultures, and you are performing as well in the piece.
Right. I got involved, I guess, when it started, and I participated as a volunteer, just a dancer. Of course, I had no formal training like Elizabeth, and I'm one of the extras because there are essentially three main characters, the Chitrangada, the original tomboy-like woman, and then the transformed maiden, and then Arjuna, and of course the god of love. It has a small but yet major role. So we're all in the background to add life to it and
sort of fill it out.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It sounds like an absolutely gorgeous piece, but in addition to that, you're also incorporating some other things from Western culture. Could you describe that?
Strangely enough, we came to know that Rabindranath Tagore, the writer, his works are widely read, I mean much more than what we thought it was, and also appreciated a great deal in the Latin American countries. And we have the artistic director, executive director of the Mexican Cultural Center, Clara Hinojosa.
Yes.
She's going to talk on the effect of Rabindranath's works on her life and how she grew up with his works, because they form an important part of the Latin American philosophy as well.
That's
and then there's
exciting.
Conte de Loyo, who's a flamenco dancer. She's going to be dancing the flamenco with a touch of the Bangla to Tagore's music.
So you're sort of doing a fusion of the two
Exactly.
cultures. That is
Yeah.
so exciting, and what a wonderful opportunity for the artist to see, the audience to see that there is a fusion between the two cultures. Again, the Academy of Bangla Arts and Culture is making this presentation of The Revelation, with exciting sounding script, on Sunday, April 9th at 6:30 at Carpenter Performance Hall, and tickets are still available.
Oh yes.
That's great. Thank you all so much for being here. In listening to you talk about the show, I'm reminded of a Mexican proverb that I know. It says that we all smile in the same language, and apparently we all dance in the same language too.
Exactly.
Thanks
Yeah.
for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.